Program is Good Afternoon Ghana, and we're here to give you the details of all news updates happening across the length and breadth of the country. We'll start in definitely with the briefs of the stories. Desmond Okweku is standing by to bring us the details, but after which we definitely will give you the detailed updates and interviews as and when necessary. The Global Info Analytics has released some new polls both on the NDC and the NPP, and also the one that intersects the two political parties, the NPP and NDC, in terms of who is leading, should we actually stand a chance to vote today. And then who is also looking promising to becoming the flag bearer of the NDC. We'll bring you the details of the polls as the slides will be displayed on the screen. The NPP and its also preparation, exactly what is happening, who is causing the NPP's downfall. We'll bring you all that the Mr. Musa Dankwa is talking about. For now, Desmond, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nani. And of course, the big one today is the launch of the 24-hour economy policy by government. Bringing more details of that. Let's get into the headlines now. Now, coming up in a bold effort to drive economic transformation, enhance productivity and tackle unemployment through round-the-clock operations in key sectors, government has launched its long-anticipated 24-hour economy policy today. We'll bring you details of that. Also coming up, following a temporary suspension last month, the Ghana Revenue Authority is set for the official implementation of the One Ghana Cedi full levy on July 16, 2025. Our India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Ghana for a two-day state visit, marking the first time in 30 years a leader of the nation. India is visiting the country. We'll tell you more in this bulletin. The details of these and many more coming up shortly. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. Let's get into the details of the stories this afternoon. We'll begin with the government's 24-hour economy policy, and government has launched the long-anticipated policy today, Wednesday, July 2, in a bold effort to drive economic transformation, enhance productivity and tackle unemployment through round-the-clock operations in key sectors. The initiative, which is flagship among the National Democratic Congress's manifesto promises, is designed to encourage continuous shift-based work in industries such as manufacturing, agro-processing, healthcare, transportation, and retail. Here is Augustus Gusitano, the presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy.
Special tribute is due to the members of the 24-hour economic task force team and the Jobs and Employment Subcommittee of the Manifesto Committee. Time will not allow me to mention each of you by name, but I believe that your names are being scrolled as I speak on the screens. And thank you for your remarkable effort and dedication, and your contributions are deeply appreciated. A detailed analysis of the challenges entrepreneurs, especially exporters, face was provided by individual intrepid entrepreneurs, both large and small, who know the system intimately. These producers and their associates are AGI, Association of Ghana Industries, FAGE, Federation of Ghanaian Exporters, GUTA, Ghana Union of Traders, GAU, PFAG, Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, and others also highlighted the opportunity cost of our broken system. They proposed well thought out solutions, some of which we have included in the program. We are grateful to the development financial institutions, private foundations, development banks, and international agencies, especially Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Development Bank of Ghana, Ghana Exim Bank, UNDP, and the African Development Bank for their invaluable support in shaping both the financing and strategic architecture of the 24-hour economic program. Without the guidance of Dr. Atto Forson, Dr. Johnson Asiama, and the expert teams at the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, the Ghana Statistical Service, and the Ghana Revenue Authority, much of this program would not have been possible. I would also like to thank my colleagues in the government, the Office of the President. The Office of the President has led the program steadily and consistently and unfailingly. The Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, has continuously provided guidance and support. The Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs, Valerie Sawyer, has been endlessly kind, helpful, and wise. The Cabinet Secretary, Professor Danso Boafo, has on many occasions guided us safely and smoothly through turbulent waters, as well as saved us when we needed help in presenting matters to the Cabinet. And of course, Dr. Callistus Mahama, the Secretary to the President, has always found space for us in His Excellency's incredibly busy schedule, in addition to graciously reviewing documents meant for public distribution. Our dear friend, former Attorney General Marietta Brew, now the President's legal advisor, has offered very valuable legal insights. Seth Tekpe has always been a clear voice on economic management and has always been a good comrade. And without Mausi Jirasa, our team would never have figured out how to navigate the complexities of Jubilee House. I must recognize the profound support of the Cabinet. 24 Hours is a truly multi-sectoral program that touches every ministerial sector of government. Progress would not be possible without the active support of ministers. However, in terms of the productive industries that the program seeks to transform, we must single out the Ministers for Trade and Industry and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ufsu Ajari, Madam, Eric Opoku, Minister of Agriculture, Madam Emilia Arthur, Minister of Fisheries, Madam Jifa Ablagomashi, Minister of Culture, Theatre, Arts and Tourism. We really do thank you for your patience and your willingness to make your institutional capacity available to drive our different sub-programs. Lastly, and not the least, I commend the leadership of our security services. With facilitation from the National Security Council and National Security Advisor, we've held constructive engagement with the armed forces, the police, immigration, prisons, fire service, customs, cybersecurity agency, and the National Signals Bureau. These institutions have demonstrated a clear understanding of the strategic implications of the 24-hour plus program and are already implementing measures to safeguard our national stability as the transformation unfolds. Indeed, I believe that ports, police, well, they've always been somehow 24-hour. Ports, police, and GRA are now on a 24-hour footing.
And President John Dramani Mahama speaking at the launch expressed optimism and called on Ghanaians to support the initiative.
Behind the 24-hour economy and the accelerated export development program was born from reflection during and after my previous term in office. Between 2016 and 2020, it became increasingly clear that Ghana, like many African countries, is trapped in a model of unequal exchange. We export raw materials and we import refined finished products. We ship cocoa, gold, timber, and oil abroad, only to repurchase them as chocolates, jewelry, furniture, and fuel at a far greater cost. This model does not serve our people. It has never served our people. It generates foreign jobs. It fuels foreign economies and funds foreign healthcare and education systems. While our youth remain unemployed, our industries stagnate and our imports balloon. We had laid the essential foundation then for energy infrastructure, for roads, for ICT systems and human capital investment. But we knew that we needed to go further. And that meant we needed an integrated, bold, and coherent approach that dismantled the silos of past policies. Program is that collective answer. And so we've moved from slogan to strategy today. In 2020 and again in 2024, thank you. In 2020 and again in 2024, the idea of a 24-hour economy captured national attention. It became a slogan of hope, a symbol that change was necessary and that it was possible. Our task now is to move from vision to implementation, from aspiration to action. This launch is not the end, but it is the beginning of a massive national mobilization. But let me be clear here. The 24H Plus agenda is not simply about extending working hours. It is about unleashing productivity, expanding opportunity, accelerating exports through well-structured, multi-sectoral, and inclusive interventions. And so we would have national consultation and co-design. And over the past 6 months, the 24-hour plus secretariat under the presidential advisor, Mr. Guzitano, and his team, has undertaken an extensive national engagement process. They've listened to entrepreneurs, both large and small, both formal and informal. They've listened to organized labor, cooperatives, farmers, and traders. They've listened to artists, technologists, traditional rulers, and religious bodies. They've consulted with diaspora groups, development agencies, investors, and infrastructure experts. They've talked to youth and women's organizations, scientists, and educational institutions. Alongside the private sector, the Secretariat has worked with government ministries, departments, and agencies to align regulatory, fiscal, and institutional frameworks to the program. The 24-hour plus agenda comprises synergistic sub-programs that are tailored to key value chains. And you must have heard the ministers mentioning them. These include Grow 24. Now, Grow 24 is about boosting agricultural productivity, agro-processing.
And that was President John Dramani Mahama speaking at the launch of the 24-hour economic policy. Let's now get onto the phone lines and speak to my colleague, Ikuya Bebia, who is at the Accra International Conference Center where the policy was launched earlier. Ikuya, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. What can you tell us about those you've spoken to at the launch? What has been their reaction?
All right, good afternoon, Bessie. So I am currently here at the Accra International Conference Center where the much anticipated 24-hour economic policy and accelerated export development program has officially been launched, signifying a major step by the government to reshape Ghana's economic structure and ensure improvements in livelihoods of Ghanaians. Both government officials and officials from the private sector were all present here at the launch, and President Mahama has described the policy as a bold, strategic shift to unlock Ghana's full potential. Now, before I talk about the reaction here, the President in his address mentioned that over the past 6 months, the policy under the presidential advisor, Guzitano, has gone through a national engagement process where the team engaged entrepreneurs, organized labor, and other relevant stakeholders. They also worked with government ministries and the private sector to align regulatory frameworks to the program. Now, the policy, according to the President, comprises sub-programs. So quickly, let me take you through some of them. We have the Grow 24, which is about boosting agricultural productivity and food security. We also have the Make 24, which is about revitalizing Ghana's industrialization. Build 24, which is also about accelerating infrastructure and housing. Show 24, which focuses on harnessing Ghana's rich cultural and tourism assets. Connect 24, which is about fixing Ghana's logistic chains, ports, energy, and digital infrastructure. And then we also have Fund 24, which is about unlocking innovative financing. All these programs will be under the 24-hour economic policy. The president also mentioned that his administration is not attempting to fix everything all at once, but rather they are targeting job and export-oriented sectors. They also mentioned that the government is implementing the Water Economic Corridor, which is a transformational intervention which targets or which is aimed at unlocking economic potential of the Volta Lake. So basically, these are some of the things the president mentioned, and he also stated that the private sector will power or lead the policy while governments will facilitate and dominate. So the reaction over here in general, people are impressed with the policy and they are looking forward to the outcome of the entire initiative.
Great, thank you very much, Ikuya Baby, for giving us some more details. And Ikuya is at the Accra International Conference Center. Well, you can definitely get more details of that on our website, www.metrotvonline.com. Now, away from that, now the President, John Dramani Mahama, is anticipated to engage in a bilateral discussion with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, focusing on economic and agricultural transformation, among other topics. The Indian Prime Minister is scheduled to arrive in Ghana today, Wednesday, July 2, for a two-day historic visit. During a news conference, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, stated that the Prime Minister's visit is expected to yield significant benefits for both nations.
Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says Ghana's ambition of becoming a vaccine hub in West Africa will promptly feature in the bilateral talks.
After the welcome pleasantries, the Prime Minister will hold one-on-one talks with his counterpart, President John Dramani Mahama. The talks, as has been agreed, will focus on agriculture, on health, defense cooperation, the establishment of a joint commission. We will also hold talks on Ghana becoming the vaccine hub.
I will definitely bring you more details of that subsequently. Now, away from that to the One Ghana CD levy, and the Ghana Revenue Authority has announced that the implementation of the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025 will officially begin on July 16, 2025, following a temporary suspension last month. This follows a prior postponement by the Ghana Revenue Authority aimed at monitoring global market conditions and preserving recent gains in domestic fuel prices. The decision was made in consultation with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy following a comprehensive review of current market indicators. Authorities said that the timing aligns with the government's broader efforts to maintain economic stability while addressing the financial needs of the energy sector. In a statement signed by the Acting Commissioner General Anthony Yakwesi Sapon, the authority referenced its earlier communication on June 13, which disclosed the government's decision to postpone the levies rollout. Officials say they will continue to monitor the impact of the revised levies and maintain engagement with industry players to ensure smooth implementation. Now to other news. Kwesi Pratt Jr., the editor of the Insights newspaper, has cautioned that Ghana is not out of the woods yet, expressing concerns about the potential impact of the levy amidst escalating global conflict. However, he criticized the minority's call for an absolute halt to the levy, stating that the need to offer alternative solutions to address the country's debt obligations. In contrast, Collins Adomakumens, a member of parliament for Ifijah Kwabrin North, accused the government of lacking transparency in the dealings with Ghanaians. He claimed the government's message was to impose taxes and the additional levy would be a significant burden on citizens.
It's obvious that the minority in Parliament is not very happy with this levy. What we know is that we are heavily indebted in the power sector, talking about 3.7 billion.
3.1.
Well,
that's what Atu said to us.
Yeah, but some have said 3.7. And in fact, since Atu said that, it's still been growing.
It's been growing, yeah.
So 3.7 billion. How does the minority propose that we retire that debt? You're not enough to come and tell us that you're opposed to the levy. Yes, fine, you're opposed to the levy. We all agree. We can see. What is your plan for retiring that debt? And they've not been able to give us any plan, any alternative. They've not been able to give us any suggestion as to how to retire that debt. So then, the minority position on this levy actually can be reduced to noise making. The only way it will cease to be noise making if they're able to tell us concretely what other alternatives, exist. And so
I'm very clear in my mind that they were not candid enough with the Ghanaian people. I was hoping that the suspension would have been upheld. In fact, we even called for a repeal of this 1 Ghana cedi. But it seems government is bent on doing it. What else can we do? They've already passed the bill into an act. The president signed it. It came to Parliament under a certificate of urgency. The president has signed it. We were told that because of the Iran-Israel war, it's been suspended. Now I can see that the turbulence in that area has subsided a little bit, and that is why they are back.
It's a 6-day cessation.
Yes. I don't know whether it can resurface again. What happens if it resurfaces? Are they going to suspend it again? Everybody was also worried that there were no sunset clause in the amendment. What it means that it can be in perpetuity, So I'm not for it. I've made my point very clear because I believe very strongly that government was not clear and candid with the Ghanaian people.
Energy sector, let's talk about health, because the Health Minister Kwabena Mintakando has revealed that 107 out of 316 suspected COVID-19 cases have been confirmed at the University of Ghana. He attributed this resurgence to a recent Horrick celebration held on the university campus.
The surveillance system detected an increase in cases at the University of Ghana. These cases have been traced to a familiar variant, the Omicron subvariant, which we have managed before. As at now, 316 suspected cases, 107 of those cases have been confirmed as COVID-19. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker, there are no hospitalizations and, more importantly, no deaths. Mr. Speaker, so far, the outbreak is limited to the university community. It has not spread widely to other parts of Accra or the rest of the country. As I mentioned earlier, all confirmed cases are recovering well. After sending a team to investigate, we found a few key issues that fueled the spread. The biggest factor was the recent hall celebration held in the university. These events brought large crowds together with little use of face masks or distancing. Following our investigations, even after the university community became aware, we also noticed a drop in adherence to basic COVID-19 safety protocols and some challenges with contact tracing. Mr. Speaker, once the first signals came in, we moved quickly. Here's what we did. Sent a national team to work with university and municipal health authorities, held meetings with the Director General of Ghana Health Service, head of Noguchi, and the School of Public Health. We issued alerts to all health facilities nationwide. The university suspended all hall week activities, launched a campus-wide education campaign using posters, campus radio, and student leaders.
Meanwhile, the health minister has announced that the ministry has verified 133 cases of mpox in the Greater Accra, Western and Western North regions. He emphasized that none of the individuals affected are presently hospitalized, and with the exception of the recent cases documented in the last week, all others have completely recovered.
133 cases of mpox, mostly in the Western, Greater Accra, and Western North regions. It is essential to note that there are currently no admissions, and we have had no deaths associated with mpox outbreak to date. Additionally, except for the cases confirmed in the past week, all affected individuals have fully recovered. Mr. Speaker, mpox spread through close contact, and we all need to stay safe. Avoid close contact with anyone with symptoms suggestive of mpox, which include fever, rash, headache, and swollen lymph nodes. And protect ourselves by washing our hands regularly with soap and water.
News updates this afternoon. Good afternoon, Ghana. Many thanks for joining me. I'm Desmond Okrekudansi. For more news, log on to our website www.metrotvonline.com. And then over back to Annie Fampo for the rest of the program. Annie, yes, I heard the health minister talk about the COVID-19 cases on University of Ghana campus and says it was the whole week celebration, that of Pent whole week, that followed everything. Interesting.
I'm sorry. Okay, my mic was off. So I was saying that by the behavior of COVID-19, sometimes it's difficult to even tell or trace.
Yeah.
But they are able to trace anyway, are they not? With infected persons.
Yeah.
They're able to trace who got it first, and maybe if you're able to track the person's movement, you should be able to find the origin of where it first broke out of where the infection first happened. So
and that's what he said has been quite difficult for the team to do that, because if that is attributed to the whole week, and we know it was the Pent whole week, where a lot of people turned up for that event, not just students on campus, people from outside campus came in there. Then there's a lot of work to do.
But you know, the COVID-19 has its traceability process.
True.
And if he says that it's been difficult, I don't think that's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a health minister. It's really below expectation.
Oh, he's just probably being honest about the situation that
he is being honest, but I want to say that then they should do more, because you are responsible for whatever you do.
Yes.
You are obliged to give us that information.
Yeah.
Yes. He's obliged to give us that information.
We'll see how that goes on. So,
but the 24-hour economy, I'm not sure what you want to do to take advantage of it. I don't know. Honestly, where I sit, I don't know what.
Well, we'll now probably find out which of the sectors we can fit into and how it can benefit all of us. So as it has been launched today, we'll wait to see all the other rollouts from this policy. So there are many others out there. Some of the companies, can do the 24-hour service, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you are employed, and you work during the day.
Yes.
So maybe
I gotta go to work.
If security is enough, you can take advantage of the night shift.
We'll try something else.
Right. Desmond, thank you for your time.
As always, Danny.
All right. So let's now take a break. When we come back, we will definitely explore further on the 24-hour economy. We'll speak with Guta. We'll speak with the DVLA and find out exactly how this comes to them. Because remember that they have already launched the 24-hour economy, have started operation. So we will see if this official launch is adding or taking out any responsibility or pressure, whatever it is. We'll speak with the boss, Julius, Nikwe, and then we'll find out more. For now, we'll take a breather.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long.
Ah!
On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh, classic movies of...
The vision behind the 24-hour economy and the accelerated export development program was born from reflection during and after my previous term in office. Between 2016 and 2020, it became increasingly clear that Ghana, like many African countries, is trapped in a model of an equal exchange. We export raw materials and we import refined finished products. We ship cocoa, gold, timber, and oil abroad, only to repurchase them as chocolates, jewelry, furniture, and fuel at a far greater cost. This model does not serve our people. It has never served our people. It generates foreign jobs, it fuels foreign economies, and funds foreign healthcare and education systems. While our youth remain unemployed, our industry stagnates and our imports balloon. We had laid the essential foundation then for energy infrastructure, for roads, for ICT systems and human capital investment. But we knew that we needed to go further. And that meant we needed an integrated, bold, and coherent approach that dismantled the silos of past policies. The 24-hour plus program is that collective answer. And so we've moved from slogan to strategy today. In 2020 and again in 2024, thank you. In 2020 and again in 2024, the idea of a 24-hour economy captured national attention. It became a slogan of hope, a symbol that change was necessary and that it was possible. Our task now is to move from vision to implementation, from aspiration to action.
So according to the president, the task of the government now is to move the 24-hour economy from vision to implementation, hence the launch. But as we speak, some institutions had already indicated to us that it has started rolling out the 24-hour economy policy. One is the Foreign Ministry. The other is the DVLA. Now, the DVLA boss, Julius Nikwe-Kote, has joined me via phone to have a conversation on the back of this launch. Mr. Kote, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Thank you very much.
So the 24-hour economy was actually captured in your 120-day policy or agreement with the people of Ghana. And I think what you intended to achieve within the 120-day is to present the policy statement, right?
Yes.
And that was done.
It was done.
Right. Officially, it's been launched now. We know that the government was also in Parliament, seeking some legal framework due to some of the changes of work itineraries of the workers itself, that it might affect the public sector when it is rolled out. Before we get there, tell me exactly the shape your institution took or your office took when you launched it. What exactly did the 24-hour cover?
Okay, thank you. Let me greet all viewers. What happened was that we launched the 24-hour service on a project on 2nd May at the Adenta office. Why? Because we have to renovate and begin our services at the Adenta office. That is our little branch of the Adenta. And it was a very big office, and we find it prudent important that how can we just go on with the normal one? Let's adopt the 24-hour shift. So what we started doing was that we divided the workers, got some new contract staff to be added on. Then we divided into 3 shifts. So they go 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is the 8-hour shift. Then another 2 p.m. Some start from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is another shift. Then we do 10 p.m. to the next day 6 a.m. again. So we have 3 shifts on, and it's 8-hour, 8-hour, 8-hour difference, 8-hour basis. So that is what we did. And so when you realize our office in Adenta, there's nothing like end of day. They even offer services on Saturdays and Sundays on the same shift. So they run shifts as we speak now. What we are left to do is the remuneration of staff that now is been launched. So we have to, the board of directors will have to come in, then other stakeholders will have to look at how best we are going to remunerate this staff to go to, especially do the night services. So we'll see whatever.
Our 3 shifts, right?
Yeah, 3 shifts. From 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's 8-hour.
Yeah.
Shift, yes.
Did you use the same stuff you have to design this?
We added some contract staff. We have to recruit some contract staff because we don't have clients for the main employment. What we did now is to recruit some contract staff to add with. As for the contract, it falls within my powers to recruit contract staff when they need be. But when it comes to the main employment, that is what we have to look at the board, and then we seek clients from the Ministry of Finance. So the contract staff falls within my powers to do that. So far we have done over 390 contract staff across board to help. What we are going to do is that the Hato office and the Tema office with the Wager office will soon be running the 24-hour project as well. Then the Kumasi office.
So Hacho, Tema,
Hacho, Tema, Wager. Then Kumasi.
Kumasi, I'm losing you. You said Hacho, Tema, and
the Hacho office, the Wager office, the Tema office. Then our office in Kumasi will also be. Then we are going to open another
new Platinum Service Office in Osu, Ari, just opposite, just a quick pick where quick pick was located. That one to go to run on 24-hour service.
But you've launched the Adentan office too, no?
Yes, we've launched that data. We launched it on the 2nd of May,
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah. And this system has been rolled out in the Adentan office.
Yes, we rolled out the Adentan office.
So this contract staff of 390, do they add to our wage bill or there's a
No. That one we pay them from our IGF.
You pay from IGF?
Yes, that will add to the wage bill. Because that one is, before to add the wage bill, they must be giving clearance from the Ministry of Finance.
Finance, right.
And the Ministry of Finance, as of today, has not given me any clearance to recruit. And we need more staff. So what falls within my purview is the contract staff. That is what we have done. But for me to get permanent employment, the board must be in place. Then the Ministry of Finance must also give us clearance for approval, for employment. Sorry.
390 is quite huge, but do you still need more? You are opening new offices, so it means that you're going to have to, get more people on board.
And then certainly we will need more. We are opening another office in Padang. We are opening another office in Osu. We are opening another office in Kranza, Doma, Bechin, Asakegua. We are opening another office again in Teshinungwa. So certainly we will need more contract staff to be on board.
Wow.
And we are doing well. Our office in Adeta has made revenue in excess of 4 million already. So you can imagine.
Come again?
Our office in Adeta, they've made revenue in excess of 4 million Ghana cedis already.
Wow, 400 million.
4 million. No, 4 million.
4 million Ghana cedis already.
Yes.
Under how many months?
We started in May. So June.
May 2 it was launched.
Yeah.
So from May till now, they have raked in 4 million Ghana cedis already.
Yes.
Wow. Because I mean, I was going to ask you that with 350 contract workers staff you have now, and you still need more, are you able to raise some more IGF to cater for the new contract staff you probably will, add to your?
You see, what coming into office, I realize when our services are easily, what people are able to identify as easily, it's bridging the gap of Guru boys coming in. So when you check our offices in Accra, we're only 4. So we need to open more office, get the service closer to the people, and it will do away with these Guru boys interference and everything.
Did you regularize some of these Guru boys? Because they know the system.
If they have if they have the right certificate and creative skills to be employed, why not?
Okay. So
they are Ghanaians. So if they have the right skills and they are going to be disciplined on the work, why not? Yeah. So far so good. I've not had any issue of that at my place, so I'm okay.
Indeed. What you have done so far and the 390 contract staff you've added on, are you able to measure productivity? Because that is that's the underlying factor where Ghana wants to get to, that you maximize productivity and indeed be able to rake in revenue. And I'm proud that you have declared a 4 million Ghana cedis revenue only from the Adentan office. So what is your measurement of productivity, and within the months that you started working since your appointment, how does it look like?
So comparing the first quarter, well, our revenue increased by 53% as compared to 2024. Because one, if you check the report, when I got into office, I realized there are 12 companies that were issuing our DP, that's driven from port number plates. But there was a whole loophole, a very big loophole over there, which I had to deal with strategically. What happened was that I had to sack all the 12 companies, employ people, staff of DVLA on contract basis to be distributing this plate at the port. And I mean, it will interest you to know, when I got into office, the best they have done so far was 1,800 plates at the end of the month. Every month, 1,800 plates. Last month's report I read, we've done 7,400 plates. So I told you about 5,000 plates were being stolen at the port on monthly basis. That is about 1 million Ghana cedis. That was going to people's pockets, which is supposed to come to the states. 5,000 plates. So now DVLA staff, contract staff are issuing the plates at the port. And we've moved from 1,800 to 7,400 plates. That was last month. So you can imagine the revenue lost over there then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And speaking of number plates, you also have involved the issuance of number plates for excavators that are,
Yes.
deployed into our forest zones and mining sites. That's also, coming in.
Okay. So let me give you there's like 2 weeks from now, I took the reports from my directors, and those inland, those that were already in place in the system that have not been registered, and we ordered them to be registered. We've done 5,902. 5,902 excavators registered. And those that are coming from the port, before the last time I took the report, we've done 549. 549. So at the port coming into Ghana, we've registered 549. But those inside the country already that are operating without registration, and we've done the registration now. We've done 5,902. I'm sure when I go back for the statistics again, the number would have increased.
Yeah. So that will also rake in some revenue, not so?
I can finish with the entire report on your WhatsApp when you are ready. Okay, so you can.
Okay,
you can give it to.
I'll be standing by for that. I'll stand by for that. So today, the 24-hour economy has officially been launched. You seem to have done so much, even before the launch. Does that put some more responsibility on you because you already rolled out, or is it going to change in your office so that users of your office DVLA will know that, well, these are the changes you are going to apply after the launch, or we're still sticking the same and adding some more responsibilities?
No, I need to put some more responsibilities because, we used to close at the port at 10 p.m. But now we have to be there 24 hours because the port is going to operate 24 hours. So we will need to now re-strategize our at the port and get it done 24 hours. Our office, as I mentioned earlier, in Weja, Tema, and Hacho, will start their 24-hour shift. Kumasi will start the 24-hour shift. I'm working on getting one at the north, either Tamale or Wa or the Boga office. One of them will start the 24-hour shift as well. So this is what we are doing so far.
The legal framework that we're seeking from Parliament, does that affect your office, of course, with a shift of workers?
Yes, it affects our office because we used to go only on a full day. But now, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to divide the workers into three groups. So certainly it affects my office. And the coming weeks we are expecting our board to be launched or to be inaugurated. So they look at the remuneration aspects of this whole thing. Because we can't just let people start going on midnight work and the salary or the allowances will be same. Certainly we have to do some add up to them.
So will you say that now you are implementing an illegality?
It is not an illegality because they are still doing the 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
So it is not
They are still
an
working within
illegality.
the 8-hour shift. Okay.
Yeah, it is still the 8-hour shift. So it is not an illegality.
And you have not received any complaints yet?
No. It is the data office that I was told people don't really come after 11. People don't really come after 11 to 6 a.m. But because people don't know that we do 11, so I've asked them to do more adverts on it to inform more education, to inform them that we do from 11 to 6 a.m. as well. And we know we have what we call the community engagement team. They move from lorry station to lorry station to educate the drivers and other stakeholders on about our services. That's what we are doing now. So there's a community outreach team that moves from one station to another station on daily basis. to educate the drivers and other stakeholders.
Before I let off you, the promise also came. The policy came with a promise of ensuring, enough security or adequate security to protect citizens who definitely will be working within the wee hours of the day and stuff like that. Is your office ensuring that? How have you been able to meet that requirement or need? Should you be working, say, within wee hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
Yeah, so at the data office, what I did was to give them one coastal bus. The coastal bus was to go, or is to go and drop off workers at their places of convenience when they close. That's for the afternoon shifts, those who close 10 p.m. So that's what they do now. When they close, they take them to vantage places where it is easy for them to get cars or to get to their houses. Then we also got some extra security guys from the national security, and then we also trained some other guys to also be doing the security work for us. So there's enough security currently at the Adenta office.
For now.
For now, yes.
All right. Julius Nikwe, I think we'll leave it here. I'm grateful for your time.
Annie, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And he's a boss of DVLA, giving us or bringing us up to speed what he has done. Remember, like I said, he launched it already, or he rolled it out in his office and used all the platforms available to him to announce to Ghanaians that he has started the 24-hour economy policy in the DVLA office. So then we wanted to understand how it's working. And as you've already heard him, in May, the Adenton office was launched or was opened. And so far, even after, in about 2 months or so, the office has been able to rake in 4 million Ghana cedis within the period of its opening. He's looking forward to opening the Hacho de Tema, Kumasi, Wejadan, Osu, Duma, Adenton, Asankregwa, Bechem, and more. So it means that DVLA itself needs quite a number of representations in these areas. And so once it's done, we just hope that it will reduce, because DVLA's work definitely needs to add to the positive nature of how our road usage behaves, so that we rake in some positives from there. So all this launch or opening of offices should give us a positive result. So that's about what is coming from the office of the DVLA. Let's go on to the phone lines and also engage with Guta. We're told, I don't know if my team will confirm, Joseph Paddy. Okay, Joseph Paddy is on phone to speak to us. He's a public relations officer for Guta. Joseph, thank you for your time and you're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Thank you, Annie, and let me say good afternoon to your viewers online and your listeners.
Mm-hmm. So, 24-hour economy has been launched today. Were you there?
Oh, unfortunately, we're not there. Unfortunately, we happen to be in the meeting with GRA on their tax reform. So we just closed from the meeting, just stepping out for our lunch. So we are doing another program here with the GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, on their tax reforms.
Okay.
Most of the time we'll be complaining about our taxes, how it has a cascading effect, and how there's no parity in there, and how our tax system is not simplified. So today we had a meeting with the GRA. Yeah, so we are here at the Holiday Inn Hotel. Yes.
All right, but you could have gotten a representation at the launch, not so?
Obviously so. Obviously so.
So why not? So. Why didn't you?
I pray. I don't have the information yet, but I pray one of my members should be around to inform them what happened there. But we are in tune with the 24-hour economy because we had a series of meetings with the committee and we have made input into the 24-hour economy. So whatever is happening today, we are in the know.
Yeah, widely aware.
It's something we've been waiting for and looking forward to.
All right. So, Mr. Paddy, I know that, prior to this, your meetings with the 24-hour economy committee and prior to the 2024 elections, it was definitely one of the key, or I would say the top of the NDC policy. They had meetings with you. Your leadership was excited about this policy and you supported it. I just spoke with the boss of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, Mr. Kote, who has indicated that, of course, he has started in his office and he now has taken on a contract staff of about 390. He's paying them with IGF. It's becoming quite productive, monitoring what the progress has been so far. He's now ready to open a number of offices, more than 20, across the country. And he's also indicated that Adentan has raked in 4 million Ghana cedis after he opened the Adentan office. It means that, if we look into other aspects and we monitor it effectively, we will be able to do something positive with the 24-hour economy. What do you think you have done so far in preparation to receive the rollouts?
Yes. Let me say once again, thank you and good afternoon. It's true. It's something the business community will be waiting for all this while. And because we know our complaint is the cost of doing business being extremely high as a result of where organizations and agencies close at a certain time. Around 5 o'clock, almost every business go to bed. So when this was introduced, when the then running mate, the presidential Mahama came out to introduce the 24-hour economy and announced it, we say it's a welcome news. Because one, I had an experience at the port where I was going to claim my goods on Saturday, and around 12 o'clock, the officer who is to claim me said he's going for a funeral, and therefore I have to leave my goods and go on Monday to claim. And when I went on Monday, I have to pay a rent to Gapoa and I have to pay other charges, which is not fault of mine. So with the 24-hour economy that is coming to place, which means it's going to run, the port is going to run 24 hours, where at every point in time you can go and clear your goods. We had a meeting with Gapoa where they are already, but the question we're asking them, they don't work in isolation. There are other agencies that they work with. Are those agencies also ready to come on board? We are talking about the banks, we are talking about customs, we are talking about Gapoa, we are talking about the shipping lines. Are they also ready to come on board? So these are some of the fine things that we're looking forward for. So that if we're able to get all these agencies on board and we all run the 24-hour, I believe it's something that's going to help the business community. And it's going to reduce the cost of doing business, and the time of doing business will also be reduced. So it's a good news that has been launched today. But there are some few things we should also be looking forward for, where we're looking forward for a security-wise. Is the environment secured that we can do business in the middle of the night? We want to, because when they were going to introduce this, I said, let me do some experiment. I left home around 11, around 12 a.m. to go run and see. And the only place I was able to get a fuel to buy was at Osu, riding from Makati to Osu. So security-wise, are we able to make sure the environment is secure to do business, to do trading? Just imagine I want to buy fuel in the middle of the night. Where do I go? Because at around 10, almost every fuel station is closed because of insecurity. So have we put security measures in place so that we can have this 24-hour economy? So, Annie, these are some of the things we should be looking forward for. If we have all these things in place, we believe it's something that is going to change the economy as a whole.
Right. So it means that in the institutions that you've held meetings with, you've explained to them and made known how difficult it has been for you, like somebody wanting to go for a funeral and all that. And how have they met you with their preparation to prepare the minds of their staff and maybe take on more staff, to get this effectively rolled out?
Exactly, Suhani. We've spoken to a few of the organizations. For example, we've had a meeting with Gapoha. They said they are ready to lift our containers at every point in time, 24 hours. So they are ready. Their systems too are ready. They've also going to buy more vehicles to lift the containers. They have given us this assurance. So the banks too are ready. They said they are ready. Are also coming on board. Customs are also already coming on board. So these are some of the things we're looking for. So if all these agencies come on board, because one agency don't work in isolation. So all is an intertwined agencies, because you cannot clear your goods without Gapoha, and you cannot clear your goods without customs, and you cannot clear your goods without MPS or the shipping lines. So are they also ready? Are they ready to work on weekends? These are because on Saturdays, weekends, almost all offices are closed. So these are the things that now that government has brought them on board, and they have bought into the 24-hour economy, and they're also coming on board. We believe strongly that it's going to help the business community, one, to reduce cost of doing business, and two, to also reduce price of goods and service in the market space. Because if the cost of doing business reduces, obviously it's going to have impact on your pricing. So it's a welcome news. So we'll be looking forward to see how, as we started rolling it up, when there are challenges, we'll bring it before the committee and then we'll work on it.
Mr. Austin Gami, Labor Aspect, has always said that a 24-hour economy has always been in our books, in our laws, that we just needed to figure it out on how to do the implementation for this economic boom. I am not sure, how that is carved exactly, but I'm sure if I raise him on the phone line, he may explain. However, do you anticipate an economic boom? With all that we're seeing, I'm sure that because you are in a trade field or world, you know exactly what we are getting ourselves ready for. In fact, as I sit here, if I imagine all these institutions, banks, customs, Gapoha, shipping lines, all working 24-hour, it even gives us more security as a country, because what we were concerned about was security.
Right. Yeah.
But when you know that there are a lot of activities running 24 hours, even thieves are going to be constrained and restrained, and they watch themselves and their activities. But how do you anticipate the economic boom from, what exactly we are yet to roll out?
Yeah, Annie, the 24-hour economy that we're talking about, what Austin is talking about, is we have it in the system already. But how effective is it? And how ready were we? You see, but now the awareness has come. That is why, stakeholder engagement and stakeholder participation. We who are going to buy into the product, how well are we prepared? The consuming public, how well are we prepared? As business community, how are we going to also come on board? What are the incentives that are going to be given to us to come on board? Because we know certain part of the economy used to operate 24-hour economy when it comes to the hospitals and other field services. But now we are moving it, we are expanding it further to meet other expectations in the business-wise. So, can I go wake up in the morning or at dawn and go to Tema and go and clear my container? Because I would even prefer to clear my container at night than clear in the afternoon where there's congestion and there's traffic in town. So I believe that with this one, when the business community awareness is raising and we all buy into it, it's going to be a welcome. We would have economic boom where we don't go to sleep after 5 p.m. And you've been in this country for some time now. After 5 p.m., almost every department, agencies go to bed. But if we are going to open up that I can go to passport office and get my passport, once upon a time I was going to do a checkup at a certain hospital. When I went, there was so much traffic there in the evening. And the lady said, oh, we operate 24 hours, so you can go. So I went home, slept, and around 12 a.m., I got up and went to them. The place was free for me. So these are some of the advantages we can see in the 24-hour economy. Yeah, hello, Annie. I'm here.
So, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
okay,
hear you.
with your anticipation, do you foresee that we're rolling this out at a go across the country, or we'll do it on pilot basis?
Yeah, I believe it should be a starting point. We can do it on pilot basis. That's what I'm saying. Let's target the port where we always have congestion. So we use the port as a pilot product where we're looking at how goods and services run at our port. The seaport, the airport. So we can use that as a pilot product. So that is why we had a meeting with Gapoha and said they are ready. They've had a meeting with the other agencies. They've come together. So we started rolling up and it moves because when you talk of 24-hour economy, you can't do a 24-hour economy in your farm at that night where there's no electricity, there's no power. So it's a matter of time as we roll on and then we expand it. So I believe that there must be a starting point. And we're going to start from the port and other areas where there's already security-wise, we are safe because we can't do business in unsecured environments.
Yeah.
So we identify where they are security-wise, we are safe, and we start it out from there. When I'm bringing my container from Tema to Accra, is it safe? When I'm moving my container from Accra to Kumasi, is it safe? What are the security agencies ready to support this 24-hour economy? Where you go out in the night, you are safe and secured. You go to New York, they don't sleep. It's a 24-hour. Every 10-minute walk, you see a police officer in a vehicle or patrolling. Can we have same here? Our security ready to support our 24-hour economy, where we can have filling stations open 24-hour. Are they ready to support that? These are some of the things we'll be looking forward for. So I believe that if we all come on board gradually, it picks up. Everything starts from 1, then we move to 2. So we're going to see a starting point. Especially, I would prefer we start from the port, where, because you go to the port in the morning, the whole place is choked. You see, so if I can take my time and go to the port in the evening around 10 a.m. or 10 p.m., 11, 12 a.m., and do my business and clear my goods, I think it's a welcome news.
Mr. Paddy, I'll get back to you definitely. It's just been launched, and so we'll see how the rollout, on pilot basis begins, and we'll get back and talk some more. Thank you. Joseph Paddy is the Public Relations Officer for the for GUTA, that is Ghana Union of Traders Association. Let's now take a break again. We'll be back, and then this time we'll get into polls. New polls has arrived, definitely from Global Info Analytics, a friend of this platform. We'll be talking to him. That is the head of Global Info Analytics, Mr. Musa Dankwa, who is already with us in the studio. We'll go through the slides soon.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordability.
Welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. I'm in the studio with Mr. Musa Dankwa, who is the head of Global Info Analytics. He has been a friend of this platform, I must say, for the longest of time. I think since he came into the system and since he started giving us polls back to back, it has been very, very, frequent in recent times. In fact, since he started, because sometimes the political parties will go into primaries, then they will go into national. Before we actually do the national polls, he will be giving us some periodic polls, and then we monitor as it goes. And so far, I would say his predictions has not failed us, and he's here. He was out of the country for some time. He's back. Welcome back. I've exposed you. I've exposed you. But guess what? Your new friend, who is also a friend of this platform, Miracle Sabwaji, has joined us also via Zoom. Not so, team? Okay, Mr. Musa, I'm told your microphone is off. Thank you. So Miracle Sabwaji is also with us via Zoom. We're expecting the NDC to join us also, either via phone or Zoom, and then we have a good discussion. Miracles, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you. Hello, Miracles. Okay, as and when Miracles. Hello, Miracles. I can see you. I don't know if you're muted. Can you unmute? Right. Bright, if you can kindly, yes, rectify it for us. Now, the post that's come out is dated 1st July 2025. So Mr. Musa Dankwa and his team, Global Info Analytics, released this post on 1st July 2025. You're welcome once again. But why 1st July 2025?
I mean, we do our polls every 90 days. That's the polling cycle.
Oh, okay.
So this happened to be the period that it was due. So it was released.
Oh, wow. What a due period. What a due timing. Every 90 days.
That has been the case since 2022.
Since 2022,
January.
yes, I
So
remember, because
January,
at some point you were very frequent in the studio.
Those days were when they were doing the primaries, and then also when we went into 2024 election cycle, where we were adding parliamentary elections to the national elections. So those times we were doing a lot more than we are doing now.
Okay. All right. So let's go straight into the polls. Team, if you can give us the methodology first before, the slide before this, the methodology slide, and then we can get into it. That way we know the methodology that was used. Can we have the methodology slide, please? Okay, Mr. Dankwa.
I mean, basically, for the first time, what we've done with our methodology is to combine three modes. We interview people over the phone. We deploy some of the interviews or the questionnaire on our social media handle for people who are on social media to respond. And we also interviewed over 7,500 people in the field across 84 constituencies face-to-face. So this time around, you could see that there were several modes of method of collecting the data, and the margin of error ranged from 3.4% to 1.2%.
Okay, so that's what we have on the screen. Now, there's something different I'm seeing with the methodology slide this time. It used to be just you write it, but now you've tabled it.
Yes.
So it makes reading
much easier.
Much easier.
Yes.
Interesting. So as you can see, the methodology we have, the sample size was 1,092. We have sample deployment. What's that?
If you look at the modes, online, we interviewed only 1,092 or 97. And on telephone, we interviewed 1,457.
And then face-to-face?
And in the face-to-face, 7,944.
Wow, face-to-face?
Yes.
Okay, so overall, we had 10,493. Okay. So the NA you've written, what does that?
Not applicable.
Not applicable.
Yes, because you can't decide online where the respondent will respond from. Yes, so.
Okay, so sample deployments, we have non-applicable, and then face-to-face we had
some
84.
respondents coming from international, but we took them out. We're looking at people who are living in Ghana who are giving a response.
So you removed respondents that came from outside?
Abroad, yes.
And then the face-to-face, we had 84 constituencies.
Yes.
Okay. Right. And then we have the sample method was probability random online sampling. Okay. And then we had probability random sampling. We had face-to-face. We have probability random online sampling. Margin of error is 3.82%.
The smaller the sample size, the higher the margin of error.
Okay.
Because there are about 18.5 million voters in the country. Using that as a basis to determine the the margin of error.
Oh, okay. So the margin of error for online is 3.8. 3.8. Okay. And then telephone is 3.31. Face-to-face is 1.42.
Yes.
Overall is 1.23. So this one, are you saying that the sample size is large?
No, it's quite larger than usual. And if you remember, during the election cycle, when we were doing telephone polls, we were polling 2,500 people. And people were saying that it was too small. But remember what happened? It was correct.
It was correct. So you decided to expand it this time?
No, in the field, we tend to do a lot more. But over time, when we do the telephone, because you see, in the telephone, the randomness is very perfect.
Yeah.
The machine picks the number anywhere. But in the field, you have to see people and talk to them. So, and there's an element of human bias. Sometimes you see somebody looking very nice, like to talk to the person. Somebody looking very serious, you avoid the person. But those people will give you different views. So those face-to-face, you need to do a lot more sample to remove those errors from the research.
Okay. All right. So now let's go through the slides. We have the gender, 42 against 58%. The men represent
slightly higher
than
the women, yes.
Okay. So, and then the age limits too is there. Education is also there. I don't know if we have to go through all that.
Not really. Maybe let's go to the real issues. For
Yes. So let's go denominations. We have the Christian denomination, Islamic sects as well. Ethnicity is there. Now, party affiliations also there. Now, I think we should go to party affiliations.
Yes, I think...
give us party affiliations.
Before the elections, 2024, MPP used to be 37% of all voters when you talk to them openly. They say, oh, I'm MPP, 37%. NDC was 33%. After the elections, we went back in April. We realized that the number of those who say they are MPP has declined to 32%. And NDC had gone to 42%. Floating voters were 15%, and not disclosed 7%, and 3% for other parties. This time around, when we went back, MPP has declined by 2%.
Wow.
NDC up by 2%. Floating voters remain 15%, and those not disclosing largely 8%. So you could see there has been a movement from people who say they were MPP to NDC. And interestingly, these 84 constituencies were the same places we went in April for a reason. So we went to the same places we went in April, in June, July, to see whether the movements are real. And the movement is really real.
All right. So if you're wondering, this is strictly political. As a national tracking poll, and we're looking at how maybe the political parties are behaving, not so.
Yes.
If my
No, I mean, the focus is not on political parties
Definitely,
per se.
no.
But at the end of the conversation, we ask them which party do you normally vote for.
Yeah.
And that determines their party affiliation. And we use that to analyze the responses or disaggregate the responses based on political party affiliation.
All right. So we would say that by this slide, floating voters are moving.
The number has declined.
For MPP?
No, okay. Let's put it this way. Before the elections, about 20% of people to 18 were floating voters. Now they've taken positions. They've moved from being floating to NDC.
Okay.
And there were a number of people who were saying they were MPP. They have now become NDC affiliate. And I think the parties must understand that when it comes to political party affiliation, it's not like ethnicity, that you are born into it, you can't leave. Political parties are associations. They are groups. People join and people leave. And what we are seeing now is a bit of decline for MPP with regard to party affiliation nationwide.
Okay, there's a graph that looks strange to me. You've named it on the same party affiliations. It has a Ghana map.
Yes. The Ghana map are the floating, what do you call the floating voters?
That's the floating voters. Okay, FV.
Yes, floating voters, yes.
Okay, all right. So explain that 15%, what does that mean?
It means in April, those who said openly they were floating voters has not changed. It's still 15%.
Okay. Okay. All right. Direction of the country.
Right. We asked people whether, in general, they believe that this country is headed in the right direction or wrong direction. This question has featured since 2019.
Yes.
Every time. the same way. And in April, those who said right direction were 62%. 90 days on, it is now 70%. Gone up 8%. Those who said wrong direction were 26%. Now it's gone to 20%. Those who said they had no opinion was 12%, now declined to 10%. So largely, people are now positive about where the country is headed.
And if you look at the no opinion graph, people are now sure.
Yeah, yes.
Because normally, when you say no opinion, it's like
he can't tell. But those who are not able to tell, the number is reducing. So they now see visible signs that we're headed in the right direction.
Okay, all right.
Now, if you look at this same number by regional basis, every region in this country, except Ashanti region, is saying that the country is now headed in the right direction. Only Ashanti region, by majority of 7%, are saying wrong direction. Usually, there's a gap, the gap between wrong and right direction in Ashanti region is quite big. That gap has narrowed in the recent polling, which means that people in Ashanti region are also becoming convinced that something is changing and it's changing for the better.
So even though their graph is high on wrong direction, there's still a percentage.
It is still the best we've seen for this number in Ashanti region in 5 years.
Oh.
Those who are saying right direction is now 40% in Ashanti region. In the past, it was around 20%.
It wasn't even up to 30%.
No. So that number has quite increased.
Okay. President's job approval.
Yes, we asked them, the man has been in the job for 6 months. Do you approve or disapprove the way he's doing his job as a president? Do you like the way he's doing his job as president?
That's what it means.
That's what it means. And then you have 73% of them saying, yes, they approve of the way he's doing his job as president. 19% said, no, they don't approve. And 8% have no opinion. If you compare this to April figures, you could see that his approval rating has shot up from 66% to 73%. And those who disapprove had declined from 23% to 19%. And those who didn't have opinion now have an opinion, drop of 3%. So you are seeing people moving from disapproval, no opinion, and adding up to approval.
Wow. Okay. So, and this is the regional breakdown for the
exactly.
approval.
And
okay, I've seen.
The same story is being repeated here. Here, every region, by majority, including the Ashanti region, they are saying that Mahama is performing.
Wow. Approval of the government's performance. Okay. So the performance is also different from
yes, because we
the
put
president's job.
Absolutely. So the performance of the government as a whole is different from that of John Mahama as a person and a president. In terms of the government as a whole, those who are saying very good or good has gone up from 55 to 61%. But those who are saying excellent has dropped from 21 to 18. But still, if you add these two, quite number, almost 79% are saying excellent or very good or good. Those who are saying poor or very poor is only 11%.
Okay, which dropped from 15%
Absolutely.
in the previous polls.
Absolutely.
Okay, standard of living.
You know, this question has featured in every survey since 2019.
Yeah.
We asked them, compared to the last year, a year before, would they say that their standard of living has improved or has worsened or is unchanged or they have no opinion? So they should compare 12 months back to today when we spoke to them. 59% are saying it has improved. It was 51 before in April, now 59. In between April and July or June, there has been an increase of 8%. Those who said it is worsened has declined by 2%. Those who said it hasn't changed also declined by 5%. And those who have no opinion has declined by 2%. So you could see that there is a downward trend in people who feel things are getting worse, an upward trend in those who believe things are getting better.
Okay. Okay. So we have standard of living. We have standard of living improvement optimism.
Yes. Here, you see, people can be okay now, but they may have a gloomy picture 6 months or a year down the line.
Yes.
So we asked them, looking ahead, are you optimistic that things would improve in the next 12 months? We want to look at the future, the outlook for the future for them. When we did that, 72% are saying that they believe it will improve in the next 12 months.
Wow.
Yes. Up from 60% in April. And those who said no.
I will ask you why, but I don't have the reasons.
No, we'll get there because some of the questions that we'll be answering will collaborate.
Answer the questions
absolutely,
of why.
Absolutely. So people are optimistic that things would get better going forward. In fact, this question we were asking them even at the time of the elections. And that number was very, very low. And you see, when you are going to an election and people are not optimistic about the future, you will not win. So the science of loss was in data, but people didn't look at it.
I mean, optimism even features in measuring your economy performance. So, okay. So 66 to 72% with optimism. Okay. In the next 6 months, do you think the price of goods and services will...
Will it increase? Will it decrease? Or remain unchanged? 55% of voters said that they believe that the next 6 months, price of goods and services will decrease.
What does this do to the mind of a trader? If this is how optimistic a trader thinks.
If you look at this is common Ghanaian citizens. They are looking at the way the CD has performed.
A trend.
And it affects price of everything. They've seen inflation come down. These are the two key variables that impact on price of goods and services. And if they are coming down, then the price of goods and services will also come down. It means that in economics, means they can afford to buy more in the future. And this is the link between being able to buy what you need to improve your living standard. This is the link between this one and the one we saw earlier. Once you can't afford something, your living standard will begin to get or deteriorate.
All right. Let me see. There's an interesting question coming up. Let's try Miracles of Boaji again before we go to that next slide with that question that is, caused a bit of some controversy. Miracles, thank you for your time again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So I can hear you. Thank you so much. So far, maybe you can just listen in. I want him to get to a certain point before I bring you in. So I wanted to hear your voice first. But do you support the increase in petroleum tax to deal with energy crisis? And this question, the answer, explain.
Bernie, you would like to insert yourself to ask the people whether they support that decision that is being taken. This is not the first time we've done this. We did this for the e-levy in 2022, if you remember, and people were not supportive of it. So when this bill was passed under state of emergency, we decided to test the mood of the public, whether, having heard what the government said, what justification they give, they still support that increase in those taxes. So we told them that the government said there is energy sector levy debt that they have to clear. Without that, they will be doing so. And for that reason, they want to increase this tax in order to pay off those debts. We informed them of this, and we asked them, do you support the decision of the government, having heard all we've told you, to pay the increases in those taxes as a taxpayer? And they said yes. Those who said they support it were 55%. Those who said they oppose it, regardless, 22%. And 20% were neutral.
Wow. Okay. Do you think the economic condition today is already are largely due to whose policies?
Okay. This is a very good question that has been asked by many pollsters across the globe. Sometimes when a new government comes in and there are positive economic vibes, the outgoing government takes the credit. In some cases, rightly so. But in some cases, some people may have a different view.
Okay.
So we didn't want it to be an issue of MPP and NDC shouting each other. So we wanted to see what the people think. This is not a technical response to that question, but voters' response. So we asked them whether the current economic condition they are experiencing is largely due to the policies of John Mahama, Nanado, or they're not sure. And when we asked them, 62% of them were saying that it is largely due to the policies of John Mahama. 23% are saying that it's largely due to Nanado's policies. And 15% were unsure. So from the side of voters, they are quite clear who should get the credit. As to whether technically that is the answer, that's a different issue.
Okay. Okay. So we also have, because of time, I just want to see if I can jump this quickly. Assessment of key performance in key areas. It says approval of Mahama handling the economy. We have 74.
Yes.
And then disapproving or disapproval is
18%.
And then no opinion is 8%. 74%.
Yes, we asked them whether they approve of the way John Mahama is handling the economy.
Okay. Mahama handling job creation, that's to 67%. And then disapproval 22, no opinion 11. Mahama handling of Galamsey.
65%.
How?
You see, it's lower. It's coming down. It tells you that they don't measure him in the same way as they're measuring the economy or the other factors. The score varies.
But you know, interestingly, I actually even think it's too high.
Now, let's see.
I mean, this is data, so I'm not going to charge
it's numbers game, counting. How many, out of 100 people, how many say they approve? They're not saying that he has succeeded.
Yes.
They approve the way he is handling it.
Okay.
It's not the same as he has succeeded in fighting Galamsey.
The question is very specific. Mahama handling of Galamsey. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we have scorecard on stabilization of the stabilizing the economy, Mahama on the economy, arrest, we've asked those questions, resolving dooms or creating of jobs. And then you've done the presidential performance average scorecard out of 10. So on stabilization of the economy, 7.
Of the CD.
Of the CD is 7. Managing the economy is 6.6. Arrest, prosecution and retrieval of stolen monies, that is oral, 6.6. Stabilizing the prices of goods and services, 6.5. Stabilizing utilities such as water and electricity, 6.0. Fighting Galamsey, 6.0. Resolving dooms of 5.8. Creating jobs, 5.8. Okay, that's fair.
See, it reflects what people feel.
Yeah.
On these ones, I think you've done well. On this one, we can't rate you so high. Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting. State of corruption. State of corruption says that it's improving by 60% of people think it's improving. Comparing it to the previous ratings, it was 56, which is it's gone up.
Yes.
As in terms of managing corruption.
Perception
of corruption.
Yes.
Okay. And then the government doing enough to fighting corruption as well is moved from 60% to 63%. Okay, those with no opinions also is there. And then the perception ratings is also there.
The league table.
Yes, the league table. Corruption perception score. Ghana Police. This is what I'm also excited about. Because then we're using a lot of foreign ratings. So you can see on your screen, we have the Ghana Police, we have the Immigration Service, we have the Judiciary. Judiciary has come to number 3. It used to be the previous polls.
I think it was still number 3. It was EC that has jumped from 7 to 4th.
They are coming up. I'm sure they will take over from the police very soon. Okay. All right. We will get into voters' preferences of MPP leadership and then also NDC leadership pretty shortly. But so far, let me engage Miracles. Miracles, I'm sure you've listened in. We've gone through fairly the slides before we get to MPP NDC or before we get to MPP. What do you make of this? I actually saw a post of yours on Facebook. I even commented, on your post. But, just let's avoid that. What do you, honestly think of what has been released?
And you seem to be so excited that you really run out of questions, and it's showing.
I'm excited.
It's showing on your face.
I'm excited. I'm seeing you.
I don't know which parts of you have not seen me yet. You were listening to the presentation. I don't know which part excites you, but I mean, well, for me, my views haven't changed, and I am very convinced about it. I am, as a citizen, I reserve that right. Annie, I can tell you without any doubt that global info analytics is basically taking the country on a ride. They are really not doing any polling. It is just their views that they find ways and means to once in a while align some of the very popular ones and then they put it out. Let me pick just a very simple and very recent one. So they are telling us that the Ghanaian citizen is approving that the government that told them that he was not going to add on taxes should add on 4 cedi 50 pesos to every gallon of fuel they buy. And that's what he's telling us.
Yeah.
And you're excited and you believe that when, as we speak, the GPRTU had already threatened. GPRTU threatens nationwide strike over new 1 cedi levy. But Global Info Analytics says that the Ghanaian people are happy. ASEC kicks against 1 cedi per litre fuel. But Global Info Analytics say the Ghanaian people are happy. COPEC says that the consequences will be dire for all of us. But it says Ghanaian people are happy. The AGI, GUTA, Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, all of them have raised concerns and advocated that the government should rethink and possibly do away with this 1 cedi levy. But Global Info Analytics, of course, I keep saying, and my position doesn't change, and I reserve that right, is doing PR and doing public perception shaping for the government. And so they come and tell us that, oh, government, you can bring it. The people say they are happy. And then you, Annie, and those who are supposed to interrogate it and even interrogate how he does his polling and which people he spoke to, reinforces it. And then the whole idea is that it feeds on the mind of the people. No Ghanaian person is happy with a 4 cedi 50 pesos levy on a gallon of fuel. That is a fact. And I'm not the only one saying it. GUTA is saying it, AGI is saying it, Chamber of Oil Marketing Company saying it, ASEC, GPRTU, COMAC, COPEC, they're all saying it. It's not true, it's false. Only time will tell. There will be a day that Global Info Analytics will no longer be able to take this country for a ride. And that day is almost here, and it's just a matter of time. How do you convince anybody? How do you tell anybody that the Ghanaian people, some of whom are already shutting down their cold stores because they don't have stable power, some of whom are already losing their jobs because of power fluctuations and their companies are working at half capacity, they are saying that they are happy that their government should introduce 1 cedi or 4 cedi 50 pesos. I don't buy that. It's not true. This is somebody that is basically trying to shape public perception to support a government policy that is going to bring burden to the people. That's my view.
The issue you have stated and all the institutions that have spoken about the 1 cedi charge per litre, you are looking at it according to trend. Global Info Analytics went on the ground to gather data. Sometimes it's different. If you follow, I'm sorry. If you follow what, sorry. No, say it again.
They didn't go anywhere. I'm telling you, Global Info Analytics went to nowhere. They are just doing PR for the government. They are shaping, they are trying to influence people's perception. That is also part of sociology. It happens. When we don't hear when the same Global Info Analytics, when this government decided to hound the Chief Justice, came to announce on his Facebook wall that majority of Ghanaians support the removal of the Chief Justice. When we don't hear. That was even under 24 hours.
He didn't announce. He didn't announce. He released a poll.
He didn't announce what? Go and check his Facebook wall.
I said he released.
I'm telling you that he does.
No,
he was doing
miracles. Hold on. He released a poll. He did not just announce because he wanted to announce.
Which poll? He did. That's what he did. As we are having this conversation, tomorrow morning you see my name is in one of his polling. That I'm the reason why Ghana's economy is struggling. Just criticize him when you find yourself in his polling. I'm telling you that it's just a matter of time. I want it to be put on record when the day comes that I, Miracles, saw this and I wasn't fooled.
Okay, so Miracles,
how can you tell us
we have
this?
Okay, as media people, we have interviewed a lot of pollsters. Some of them, their polls came to pass. Others didn't. I remember the last one I saw from Mr. Ben Efson, he actually came to apologize for not getting the polling right. In the 2024 election, Global Info Analytics predicted, and the polls was spot on. How do you move from that point
several people predicted. several people predicted 2024 elections, including prophets and apostles.
They predicted
and,
not.
And
no, you see, I cannot sit here as a media person and use what a prophet says to do my story. I can only deal with data and facts.
And you are telling me that they predicted, and I'm telling you there's so many other people who predicted. So I'm simply making a point.
Yes, but I'm saying that the difference is that Global Info Analytics predicts with data. Pastors will predict spiritually. I can't deal with that.
Let me make my point. I am telling you that, and you see, let's allow you to be on record. You can disagree with me, obviously, because you were overly excited with some of the things, including paying additional levy. You are
also overly emphasizing on my excitement. I said I saw your face and I was happy. That's all.
Why are you gagging me? Let it be on record that I, Dennis Miracle Sabuaje, has seen through the skewed and biased nature of Global Info Analytics for the past 2-3 years. And I insist that they were doing a hatchet job for the NDC in opposition. And all he's doing now in government is to transit from what he used to do for the NDC in opposition and bring it to government. This guy does what he's doing. And so now he looks at what is going on. In order to support what the government wants to do, he comes to announce that everybody agrees to it. Then he goes around doing PR, in support of it, and then creates the impression that the Ghanaian people are happy to come and pay additional levies to the government when they are already struggling. It's okay. It's a matter of time. So that's all I'm saying.
So from your trend, Ghanaians are not happy to pay any taxes. Nothing. Or your observation?
Because not just my trend. I have mentioned to you specific institutions who are an aggregation of the Ghanaian people. I've mentioned AGI. I've mentioned GUTA. I've mentioned Chamber of Oil Marketing. ASEC kicks against 1 cedi per litre fuel. GPRTU threatens nationwide strike over 1 cedi levy. The consequences will be dire for all of us. COPEC on 1 cedi levy. I'm not the one saying it. These are Ghanaians who are saying it. Which Ghanaians the Global Info Analytics speak to?
So these institutions.
Are you happy? I mean, are you happy to pay 50 pesos for a gallon of fuel? Are you happy?
If I pay taxes and the taxes will be used for what it was meant for, I'll be happy to pay.
Since when did you form this opinion? In the last 6 months?
No.
In the last 6 months, that's when you formed this opinion.
No, miracles,
so since when? Which of your taxes were not used for what it was meant for which reason why you are not happy to pay for?
Miracles.
Before you kicked against e-levy, had e-levy been collected for you to know whether it will be used for what it was supposed to be used for or not?
What was
you
Miracles?
Simply said that the economy was difficult.
Miracle, take your time. What was e-levy meant to do?
E-levy was meant to deal with several other things, including road infrastructure. It was mentioned categorically in the e-levy Act. You can go and check and read it. It was mentioned. You can go and check and read it. Before it was even passed, you kicked against it. How did you know it was not going to be used for what it was meant for at the time you kicked against it?
Okay.
And so today you are telling us that if a levy will come and will be used for its purpose, I am for it. When did you form this opinion?
E-levy, Miracles, you were on radio and you said to the whole Ghana or the whole country that you don't know if the NDC as a party or the government has cast a spell on Ghanaians because you expect a certain sad reaction from the people and you are not seeing it. Someone goes on the ground to collect data. You've mentioned institutions. Remember that the institutions represent a section of people. Data collection is random. Please hold on. Data collection is random. I'm sorry. Let me land. Data collection is a random. Is a random question given to random people and sampled. There's a sample size that the institution deals with. How do you compare institutions that represent a group of people to random sampling that has been done? How?
The membership of GPLTU.
Because you yourself said that you don't know if government has cast a spell on the people.
You've asked me a question.
So why are you giving?
You've asked me a question. Let me answer. The membership of GPLTU is probably even more than the sample number that Global Info Analytics use for this survey that you are so much excited about. Do you know the membership of GPRTU? Their membership is probably bigger than the sample size you use. GPRTU is an institution that represents a body. How many people did Global Info Analytics speak to come to this conclusion? Which people are those people? How many are they? And you think that represents the view of over 36 million people? And so that view is sacrosanct. But that of GPRTU, that one is a representation of a group of, when GPRTU are the ones who are actually going to enable this levy and its impacts on the people.
How is research? So if hold on. So if you conduct research, all professionals who have conducted research with a sample size of say 2,000 of a whole Ghanaian population, and they bring you the outcome of the research, are you going to say that 2,000 sample size is not significant enough to represent the whole country? Is that the purpose of research?
I haven't questioned the sample size.
So what are you questioning?
I haven't. I questioned you when you questioned GPRTU. That is. I was only making a point with that. When you questioned GPRTU, I was only telling you that you cannot downplay GPRTU's views. When their membership could even be more than the sample size. That's the point I am making. Don't go into sample size. I haven't gone into that yet. I am telling you that the point you made about trying to discredit the GPRTU view because it's an institution representing a few. That is when I made that point to let you know that GPRTU and its members could actually cut across the country even more than the sample size that was used, because GPRTU is everywhere, in every corner in this country. That is the point I was seeking to make.
But you cannot conduct research on that basis. The fact that GPRTU is everywhere, when leadership of GPRTU speaks, every member of even within GPRTU, if you conduct a research, it will surprise you the number of people who will give you the responses according to the questions.
What makes you think that the leadership of GPRTU didn't do their internal polling before they came to speak? But you believe Global Info Analytics that nobody knows where the so-called people they spoke to are seated? What makes you think that the leadership of GPRTU, they that have access to their people across the entire country, and they are very well represented across the 16 regions, they didn't speak to their people? But Global Info Analytics, that's why you believe in sample size and the people we spoke to.
I don't have a lot. I wish I could, my team, if you can give me some extra time with miracles. So please seek for me. If it's possible, I can have some 10 minutes extra and then give me feedback as soon as possible. I'm told Mr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere has also joined. Mr. Asante-Okyere, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Okay, political analyst. He's Mr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere. Just a few minutes. I'm so sure. Sorry, I'm pressed with time. But how do you respond to the recent post that has been released by Global Info Analytics? We always actually host him, and as and when he goes wrong, I'm sure we'll give it to him like that. But Miracles has also indicated his position on the recent post that has come out. That I think the number one accusation is that Global Info Analytics has always played to the gallery of the current administration and is not necessarily speaking to anybody. It's just playing politics with all the information that it tries to come out. Significant of it is the recent post he released about the office of the Chief Justice.
Well, I'll start by saying that the likes of Mr. Miracles Aboagye are the reasons why Dr. Bawumia will not get certain figures right. His attempt, at poo-pooing the polls of Global Info Analytics is just so obvious. We're in this country when my friend Professor Smart brought a particular data that was palpable falsehood. Some of us have, dealt with some of these figures, interrogated them over the period. And if government then were to be truthful, the by-election that took place at Asin North was the main indicator exactly what was going to transpire in the 2024 elections. But of course, every government and their assigns have always lived in some kind of denial, and they will not accept that. Look, on the ground, this one CD thing that you're talking about, in actual fact, it is for a good cause. that as a nation we will not be plunged into doing so again. Now, if you look at the cumulative effect of that one cedi, what as Ghanaians we used to pay in terms of fuel when MPP was in power was quite astronomical. 17 cedis or so. It went to 17 over 70 something cedis per gallon. Now, if you look at the cumulative effect, this is a government that has managed the cedi, whether by luck or by art. They've been able to manage the cedi with their policies to the point that you see the range, people are even struggling to send money to Ghana because the rate has what? Just reduced astronomically. And so if, as a government, they will want to create a situation where we will not degenerate back into doomsday. Because doomsday is basically more of money now than anything else. I don't think if at the end of the day, the policy hits a snag in such a way that we see an increment in fuel prices far beyond that of the MPP, Ghanaians will have a good reason to complain. And government will have a good reason to say that, okay, then I'm bringing it out. But if you look at everything, the figures down there do speak to themselves. Look, if my fuel has gone down, in reality, it's putting money into my pocket. Inflation may be by ending of June or July, they are talking about 16% or so. Whether it is an offshoot of MPP's intervention when they were in government, or it's entirely that of the current government, is neither here nor there. What, as an ordinary citizen, I feel proud about is the fact that in as much as government gave me just 10% increment, with these interventions, positive interventions, I'm realizing some kind of income in my pocket. That is what the Ghanaian is thinking about. It is not the going about, trying to poo-poo the figures of and trying to indict the person's integrity and all those things. Most of the things that he said in the past came to pass when you were in government. When you were in government, you guys were telling that about me that I was going to get about 80%, in the internal primaries. I said, no, what you are saying, what you are telling the man is untrue. Tell the man the truth. Some of us have done perceptional studies, and when you went round, it was not good at all for the MPP. So if you go on such a tantrum against someone who has become very credible, I think they are not doing the one you represented about me any good. You are not doing him any good. And if you look at the perception of Ghanaians in terms of approval rating and other things, I mean, it is something that is very difficult to deny. You are talking about the president. Look at the way he has reduced the number of ministers. He's not even gotten to the 60. He's now over around 56. What does that imply? It implies that as a nation, we are not spending so much, right, on ministers and their portfolios and whatever, purposes that go with their particular portfolios. We are saving some kind of money as a nation. You cannot in any way deny that. Because in time past, even in the first regime of Mr. Mahama, he was talking about 85 or so. President Akufo-Addo's first term, we're talking about 126. Later on, he came down around 80-something. So there is that kind of conscious effort by the current government to ensure that as Ghanaians, we are not shortchanged. Look, they are talking about people not traveling on first class or business class. That is some kind of savings. You are talking about someone who intends to create a situation where those suffering from terminal diseases will have some kind of windfall along the line. You see, we are talking about a current government saying that they have cut out DSTVs. DSTVs is costly. It is costly. So whichever way you look at it, this particular government is very conscious of doing something right by the people. They are not perfect. Apart from that, if you look at the corruption index that they have brought up, it tells you that this oral thing is something that Ghanaians believed in. And me, I asked that about Amia, for example, when he was in government and was taking the reins of government. I asked, are you really sure you can investigate SML when you take over?
But according
Are
to
you sure?
but according to Global Info Analytics, I mean, whether Dr. Bawumia can or cannot, he's leading the polls within the MPP with 56%. The closest contender is Kennedy Japan, who is at 23%.
Well, in reality, if you compare the those who have expressed that kind of interest, you see, first of all, the delegate or the kingmakers will want to consider the fact that, okay, you should not only be popular within the party,
okay,
you must also attract that percentage. Because I have said time with that number that the MPP and the NDC do not have, what it takes to win outright elections based upon their own support base. No, none of them has it. What happens is that you have these independent, non-aligned, the neutrals, the floating voters. If you are able to please them with your policies, then obviously they'll go out there and cast their ballot for you. You do not expect Ghanaians, when inflation went as far as 50-something, came down 20-something, then you are talking of public debt hitting 721 billion. You are talking of a cedi to the dollar around 16 before you left office. You do not think that people who reason, who are rational beings, will easily say that they are giving you their mandate. So if there is anything at all, they should sit down, ponder over that huge gap, the loss that they suffered. That is something they must ponder over, and accurately, without any passion, accurately get the things right.
Okay.
Because it's as if they are still in government, they don't seem to get certain things right. And I'm really getting disappointed in the way a manner sometimes even the minority carry themselves in the public space.
Mr. Santiochi, we'll leave it here. Thank you.
And that's the whole reason why the current government still has that support, the goodwill. It doesn't even have to take Global Info Analytics to tell us that they have the goodwill, of the masses. It doesn't have to take the Global Info Analytics. It doesn't mean that everything is perfect. Of course, there may be price increment here and there, but the rate of this increment will have to tell you that the policy intervention of government is really working.
Okay.
If it hits a snag, we will come out and say it. But there is not a single indicator that the MPP left that has become worse off under the NDC. I stand to be corrected. But I've not seen anything like that. Even in terms of interest rate, look at the interest rate. Well, the level it was and what it is now. And if you listen to the Bank of Ghana governor, you see that the guy is very astute in whatever he does. Maybe because all of them have been there before, they seem to have that benefit of hindsight.
Finesse.
You see, so unless the indicators that they came to meet, have become worse than what is prevailing now has become worse than what it used to be.
Right.
That is the only yardstick you can say that the NDC has not performed.
Okay.
But as long as the figures they inherited, the indicators they inherited, are becoming better and they are the regime, there is no other rationalization.
Right.
There is no other logical explanation to explain away the interventions of the current government.
Okay, let's wrap up here, Mr. Santiochi. Miracles, if you're there, are you there?
I am here, Annie.
Yes, okay.
I'm very much here.
Okay, I'll give you a last word before I also wrap up with Mr. Musa Dankwa.
Annie, you see, so imagine if Dr. Otre was going to do polling. Let me tell you, you cannot speak this passionately and intertwine it with misleading information. That cannot be allowed. And you cannot blackmail anybody into submitting based on what you feel and believe. First of all, this government didn't inherit fuel at 17 cedis like you sought to put it. The government inherited fuel at 14 cedis. 14 cedis. That is how much.
I corrected myself, Miracles, by saying that
I beg you. I beg you. Secondly, he wants to know the things that have gotten worse since this government took over. Doomsaw is one of it. In 6 months, this country has suffered excessive energy crisis, something we didn't see in 8 years, but for 8 weeks. And then all of a sudden, a country that has enjoyed stable power for 8 years, all of a sudden is in crisis without forcing the 50% levy on a gallon of fuel. If we don't pay that, we are going to go into crisis. And you want to justify this? No way, that will not be allowed. Whatever it is that the previous government that you claim wasn't performing was doing, for which reason we had our power, without having to be burdened with 50 pesos a gallon. That is what you should be asking this government to do. But you don't come telling us that they are coming to fix a crisis that they have introduced. Something that by the time they took office was not in existence. Number two, Galamsey, the TUC, Trade Union Congress, told the president in his face on May Day that Galamsey has escalated than it was before they met it. That is also something that has become worse since they took office. He mentions that this government has saved money by reducing the number of ministers. Again, that's a complete falsehood. And that's a worry. Listen, Annie, this government took office and told us that they were going to reduce the cost of running government machinery. And then they lied to us that their way of doing it is to reduce the size of government. Of what use is it for you to reduce the size of government or the number of ministers and then you spend more than the previous government? This government is spending 2.7 million cedis, 2.7 billion cedis, 2.7 billion cedis to run office of government machinery. The MPP government that you claim was worse, spent 327 million. How do you reconcile this? And if you listen to Dr. Ocho, he himself made a point that it was not just about he made a point to the effect that it was not just about the number of ministers, but he sought to create an impression that this government has reduced the expenditure on government machinery, which is false. This government is spending 2.7 billion on government machinery. The MPP government spent 327 million on government machinery. You convince me that this government is saving any money simply because they reduce the size of government. The point I am making is this. And I am making this point because I am just putting it on record for posterity's sake. Let no one say that we didn't tell this country. Global Info Analytics. And this is not me poo-pooing every polling. Let me put it on record. And Dr. Ocho is wrong when he says that we are not poo-pooing every polling. We are questioning the credibility of Global Info Analytics polling.
Okay.
And we have every reason to believe that his polls are biased and skewed in favor of the NDC. Right. And that he's too fixated on even the opposition party in government.
Right.
That is our view.
Okay.
The fact that you predicted one election,
Miracles,
you predicted one election right.
Okay, thank you.
All of a
thank you,
sudden
Jonathan. Thank you. But let me wrap up with
and that is fact.
The man in the middle of all this, Mr. Musa Dankwa. We're wrapping up. I have the MPP and the NDC polls. We'll discuss that later. I don't want us to rush over it, so
that's okay.
We'll pause it there. So your last words.
What can I say? I thought people have learned good lesson from the last election cycle. Obviously, I'm wrong. What I can tell Ghanaians is that as far as polling is concerned, we will never be like the rest of them. We are here to stay, and we're here to give them unbiased views of the public.
Accurate data.
Accurate data, absolutely. Look, it's difficult. It saddens me. I have lived 5 years of my life in Europe, in Britain, and I know how the political class engage polling numbers, even if it's not in their favor. But the bunch we have in this country is absolutely shocking. And that intellectuals, rather than having intellectual argument about the numbers, will take a road that is absolutely Annie, I think I'll reserve my words. But to all other Ghanaians who are looking for the truth, we are the truth and the light. We're not here to appease anybody. We are telling them what Ghanaians are telling us. They can dispute it, they can disregard it, so be it.
Mr. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. I'm grateful for your time.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks for watching. This is Kamala Lawas.
back in the day, you tune in radio from morning, and you don't want to miss out because anybody who comes on is massive.
Back in the day on Metro CFA, Mr. BKD anywhere.
Back in the day, mentioning the place that you used to live, no, that meant that you were Dadaba.
Oh, how?
Because we are the ones who went to Saito.
I wasn't really a nightclub person.
No, I mean,
the only times I went to the nightclub, Yoko Dixon took me.
Yeah. You have a Walkman by your side. Now that was your selector. The Walkman was your selector. So when you play the first song and you want to change the song, you have to start cueing your next song through your headphone.
Hi, my name is Ivan Kwashigan. I'm the CEO of Farmhouse Productions. I'm a film director, producer. You are watching Back in the Days with Sammy B on Metro TV.
Massa, we're a guy, yes, I'm be a feature. This is Back in the Day. Keep watching.
Everything in the world revolves around science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Enough of classroom memorization. Science must be practical. That is why the Quiz Talk is bringing Ghana's first ever national STEM quiz. This program will spark the students' interest in STEM. Science, of course, is the mother of all creation, starting from creation itself, from the plants to the animals.